I'm Raed Kadri, and I'm the head of Ontario's Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network, AVIN.
Briefly, what would be your pitch as to why connected and autonomous vehicles, CAVs, will be key to Canada and, of course, the global future economy?
It's a very good question. So the automotive sector is changing rapidly, which we're all aware of. And the introduction of new technologies into the sector is transforming the sector and other sectors. And what's now happening is with this introduction of technology, the global leaders are looking for new solutions, new technologies, and are willing to go outside of the traditional supply chain and talk directly to new entrants, startups, entrepreneurs, even to post-secondary institutions to draw out that technology so that they can remain in the lead in this global race. So with the expansion of the sector, it's a very great opportunity for any jurisdiction that has an auto sector. And if you look globally, any jurisdiction that has an auto sector is vying for leadership in this space. And this space, it's important to note that this space is a convergence of multiple sectors. And automakers are starting to call themselves mobility companies. And the way I define mobility is the technologies that will shape the movement of people and goods in the future. And I think that's important to note that as a sector transforms, there's a lot of new technologies and a lot of new solutions that are being looked at holistically as a system. So going back to any jurisdiction that has an auto sector, this is a really big opportunity to build new companies, commercialize new technologies and solutions, and get them to the global market because the opportunity is there. And if I take that to Ontario, Ontario has the ingredients and always had the ingredients. Ontario's always been a leader in the auto sector. And with everything that we have and our leadership, we'll continue to lead because we have innovative entrepreneurs. We have high potential startups. We've got world-class post-secondary institutions. We have top-tier talent, and we have a very supportive government. And all of that is the ingredients why Ontario will continue to lead in the sector to maintain our leadership and grow in the future of the auto sector.
Why did AVIN choose Ottawa specifically as the location for this investment in connected and autonomous vehicles? And what makes Ottawa, generally speaking, a good location to invest in the auto sector?
AVIN is the Government of Ontario's initiative to drive the future of our auto sector, to capitalize on all of those ingredients that I mentioned to you. It's a part of driving prosperity, the Government of Ontario's 10-year plan for the future of auto sector. And so the key to AVIN and a lot of the tactics that Ontario is deploying to make sure and to maintain our leadership globally is to leverage our regional strengths. Is to go across our province and look regionally for areas of strength that we have and coordinate local and regional actors, post-secondary institutions, incubators, accelerators, economic development corporations, and industry to come together and support the growth of new startups, of new technologies, of new solutions, help them overcome the barriers to commercialization, help them connect to potential customers, and altogether grow our province, grow our startup community, grow our SMEs, and get them to the global market, create jobs in our province, create more economic opportunities. And so if you look at Ottawa, Ottawa has always had a technology cluster like other parts of our province. And so there's 6 regional sites across the province, Windsor-Essex, Hamilton, Kitchener-Waterloo, Toronto, Durham, and Ottawa. And so focusing on Ottawa, just like the others, there was a base of technology and industry that has in an area that is a part of the growing need in this space. And so that's what made Ottawa one of the choices of the regional technology development sites.
And I guess it's also important to have an established, let's say, supply chain, multi-sectors, ideally. What are some of the sectors or even some of the emerging technology clusters that are in the Ottawa/Ontario region and that support the growth of a competitive CAV sector?
Yeah, I would say, Ontario is got a lot to offer. And I think it's very much acknowledged globally. The AVIN is acknowledged globally. If you look across the province, we've got a lot of strength in cybersecurity. We've got great strength in artificial intelligence and machine learning. We've got strength in sensors and other hardware. We've got strength in communications, networking, to name a few. I mean, I can keep going. We've got strengths in other parts of the auto sector, which is why that's a result of the fact that we have been a a major automotive jurisdiction for a number of years, and we will continue to be. I mean, continue to see reinvestment in our auto sector, and so with that, we have, like I said, a lot of areas of strength in our post-secondary institutions, in our startup community, in our entrepreneurial community, in our small, medium-sized enterprise community, and then the supporting ecosystem around it. So I tell you that, if I were to pick a few, those are them, but there is so much more that Ontario has to offer. And I would emphasize, again, world-class post-secondary institutions, talent, and innovative entrepreneurs and startups and small, medium-sized enterprises that are building leading-edge technologies. And the globe notices. I mean, it's definitely something that people are paying attention to, that Ontario's strength in the future of this sector is very much there and is very much something they need to be aware of.
So you're saying talent is generally quite available in Ontario. What is being done to, let's say, continue to attract as those industries grow, but also to train homegrown talent and also to retain the talent?
Yeah, so the first thing I'd say is, again, through Ontario's AVIN, there's a talent development program, and that's very much focused on ensuring that we support the transition of our highly qualified individuals, of our top tier talent from school to work. It's very focused on helping them to get an opportunity to develop those skills in a real world environment, which also contributes to the growth of a startup and a small, medium-sized enterprise in our province. And so oftentimes as a result of that, what we see is that talent joining that company or joining a company nearby because that company has provided them the opportunity to build those skills that they can use as a reference for their next job. And I think that has been widely successful in ensuring that, one, we transition our talent from school to work, and two, we ensure that talent has a job in Ontario that's building our companies that are going to scale globally and continue to grow in our province. And that's a very big part of the Government of Ontario's Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network, AVIN, and it continues to be.
Can you perhaps point or think of any policies or any kind of support mechanisms that exist to incentivize foreign direct investment in the auto/CAV sector?
If you look at this year in the auto sector, just within a month period, we saw close to $5 billion of investment in auto manufacturing, which I think is phenomenal. And we saw an investment an investment in new vehicle platforms. And so if you think about that, I think that you can say that the government is doing something right, because that is definitely a huge win and a very important win for Ontario. And to see $5 billion of investment from automakers, global automakers, doubling down, saying Ontario is the place to be. Ontario is a place to build vehicles, and Ontario is a place to build vehicles with future technologies. And that's important because that investment, securing that investment in Ontario, for the Ontario government to secure that investment in Ontario, is also very important because it will trickle over to the supply chain. Our existing very strong and very innovative and very high quality supply chain, but also new entrants in the supply chain, especially as these companies build new technologies or build new vehicle platforms, future vehicle platforms. So that I would say that if you think about that, there's great work being done. There's great policies, and it speaks for itself. If you want to speak specifically to Ottawa, Ford has an R&D center there, which employs hundreds of people and continues to grow. And they're developing solutions around the connected autonomous vehicle space. So that's one great example. There's likely many more. You look in Toronto, you've got General Motors developing AV software and other aspects of autonomous vehicles. You've got things, similar investments in Waterloo. And so I can keep listing it on. And I think it's all to say is, going back to what we mentioned, is that there's a global recognition that Ontario is the place where the future of automotive is going to happen.
What are you most excited about for 2021 in the CAV space?
We see new opportunities. We see new investments. We see new partnerships. We continue to see new developments. And so it's hard to tell you what I'm excited for. To pin down one thing I'm excited for in 2021, that's a testament to initiatives by the government to ensure that we continue to grow, and all of the hard work across the province of many stakeholders that are all working together, including in Ottawa. Very focused. AVIN is driven to make sure that regionally we're focused on collaboration, which Ottawa very much is, as like other regions, as well as we're focused on collaboration provincially, and we're working at it together, and we're making sure that Ontario is a shining light globally.